morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Guys, these are my first sips with you today. I'll tell you what, boy, did it ever warm up, even though they're telling us we're going to get a major cold snap, but you can still see the kind of steam coming off my cup right there. I'll tell you what, wow, wow, wow. Guys, do I have a tale to tell you today? The reason why I'm out here getting my coffee chat off a little later this morning is because really early on, I had to go down to the Collin County Courthouse. I was applying for my U.S. passport because I received my, naturalization citizenship on December the 18th. So I get down there and, they get in there and I have my appointment booked, brought all my paperwork, everything like that. The lady in behind the counter is about to put a staple right through my one and only copy of my naturalization certificate, which they told us, hey, look, any damage to this thing at all could deface it and then it's not of any benefit. I'm like, whoa, just hold on. Take that back. And then she said, well, you're going to have to get a certified copy. I said, no problem. I'll go get a certified copy. So then I get on the phone and I talk to the Department of State and find out about, how do you do this and how do you do that? Well, I end up talking to 1, 2, 3 people, each one of them giving me a different story of what I need and what I don't need and on and on. So I didn't get my passport application in today. I'm going to figure the whole thing out. But one thing I found out is if that gal had stapled that to the application, it would have voided the naturalization certificate, which literally took years. But guys, in my estimation, this is one primary reason that we need blockchain, that we need XRP and distributed ledger technology and digital ID for that kind of the nonsense and the absolute confusion that these bureaucrats, these permanent bureaucrats, they one person tells you one thing, someone else tells you another, a third one tells you this, and then you go down there and you practically get the whole thing ruined. I'm telling you, it is just wild. But doesn't that show you why we need to have these technologies? Because guys, it's going to solve a lot of these problems and all these errors and everything that's going on. And we know for a fact that, hey, I know there's folks that don't like the whole digital ID kind of thing, but it's how it's going to be employed. It's how you use it. It's not necessarily evil in and of itself, but can it be used for evil? Well, yeah, sure it can. That's for sure. We know that, but that's the way most technology works. Can it be used for good or can it be used for evil? And that's the facts. But for me, hey, look, I'm going to occupy until he comes, right? And so that means that, listen, until they actually are putting something in me or on me, I'm going to go with it. Once that happens, hey, it's off the table. I'm not going to go down that road. But the fact is, guys, look at the problems that these assets, that this distributed ledger technology can solve. It's the real world problems that it solves. Nostro Vostro being one, that cross-border remittances and payments. Of course, that's the killer app for XRP. And obviously, when you get into, ownership of property, decentralized identity, and on, you can see how they will be able to fix so many problems. And this is where my confidence comes when it comes to this space. It's because of the fundamentals and the problems in society that it can really solve in a powerful, powerful way, in which I believe it is solving. But what an experience to go through. You don't want to do it. And anybody that's ever been through all the bureaucracy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And another big problem that blockchain can absolutely solve, of course, is the IRS and all the nonsense with all the multiplicity of tax documents that need to be filed for the same thing practically over and over and over. And I believe distributed ledger technology is going to solve that too. Now, guys, just check out what the prices of these assets are doing today. I mean, XRP is up there at what, $2.44, $2.45. XLM is on an absolute tear. And this is what I see happening. And guys, you can see how there are big time institutions. Think about this. You've got billions and billions of dollars of XRP trading in 24-hour periods. Guys, do you honestly believe that that is all retail? No, it is not. Guys, we know that institutions are out there and they're gobbling it up like absolute crazy, and they're trading this market big time. That tells you most everything you need to know. I mean, you really are seeing all these major players, and get this, a lot of times people are saying, well, the banks are against it and all this and this and that. Guys, it is mostly these financial institutions that are out there participating in this market big time. Don't let them kid you with that kind of nonsense because they're the ones that are out there doing it. Think about this. The Depository Trust and Clearing Corp. Now, if you don't know who they are, what they do is they process practically every single trade in these markets inside the United States and all that kind of stuff like that. And they go through trillions of dollars of transactional volume per day. And they themselves are utilizing blockchain technology to do it. What they did is they went up and they partnered there with R3 Corda. And I think that was back in 2019, 2020 into 20, somewhere in the early, 2020s or 2019, 2020. Needless to say, what the R3 Corda uses for instant settlement, get this, XDC and XRP, bang, right there, yep. And if you're seeing the Depository Trust and Clearing Corp, trillions of dollars of transactional volume a day utilizing blockchain, and then you got Larry Fink talking about the next evolution of these markets, tokenization of securities. And I always love to point it out, it's not the securitization of tokens. No, tokenizing securities. Well, guys, that's trillions of dollars right there. Do you realize where we are in history and where this thing is going? I'm telling you what a mind-blowing, life-changing opportunity that I believe that this digital asset space represents. And this is why I always come out and say, in my estimation, it will be the greatest wealth transfer in the history of mankind. Why? Because, guys, it's going to fundamentally shift the way the world even works, and it is going to be absolutely crazy. Crazy, the applications. Certainly it's going to take care of all this government bureaucracy and multiple papers of the same thing having to be filed over and over and over again. I think it's going to solve that. Think about your education. How about your health care? What about your ownership of property when it comes to real estate? And think about having title insurance when you've got blockchain involved in that, in the transfer of those titles, and it's immutable and it can't be hacked nor cracked and anything else like that. Hey, there are industries that will probably go the absolute way of the dodo bird. I mean, think about Smith Corona. Now, Smith Corona, for those of us old enough to know, they were a massive, massive typewriting company and for years and years and years, decades. Anyway, they did not shift with the transaction, as we were moving into, more printers and digital technology. They don't even exist anymore. Think about Netflix. And get this, how about, Blockbuster? Because at one point, Blockbuster could have acquired Netflix for a song. And yet, so short-sighted, so short-sighted. Now, Blockbuster doesn't even exist, only in our memories. And yet, Netflix is literally gobbled up at such a market share. It's insane. Right there, technological changes change the way society works. That's how it's going to go down, guys. And if we weren't there living to see it, it'd be almost impossible to believe it, because in the world that we were in, growing up in, we couldn't even imagine at that time how some of these behemoths could be up-seated, like Smith Corona, like Blockbuster. There was one on every block, literally. A Blockbuster video was on every block. You could practically find one. They were that, prolific through all across the country. And now they don't even exist. Think about that, and how distributed ledger technology is going to literally change. Now, I don't even think it's going to take near the time it took for all those other changes to happen. I think it's going to happen way, way, way faster. And guys, you want to be right on top of it. It'll blow your ever-loving mind how fast it will happen. And I genuinely think that most people, it'll seem seamless in a way, because we'll transition, but it'll happen so fast. You're going to wake up a year from now, maybe a year and a half from now, 2 years from now, and you won't even barely recognize the way the world works today. Could be in our tax system, our healthcare, our identities, on and on and on. And the backbone of that, distributed ledger technology, and of course XRP, is at that literally tip of the spear when it comes to that kind of transition. Guys, it's going to be mind-bending what's coming. I'll tell you what, mind-bending, really. In some ways I can't wait, and in other ways it makes me really nervous, to be honest. But in the process, in the meantime and in between time, guess what? We can benefit. We can profit from it. And that's why I'm always out there and saying, get out there, genuinely go out, research it for yourself. Don't rely on what anyone else is saying. Certainly don't rely on YouTube. Now, you know that, hey, we're about as bullish as you can get, Judy and I. We believe in it because it really revolutionized our lives. So we believe in it wholeheartedly. But I would not tell you to take on my confidence, and make it your own. You can't. That's one thing we cannot do. I can share my convictions with you, but I can't give you the confidence that goes with it. And look, if I can talk you into it, like I say, someone else can go and talk you out of it. But you owe it to yourself. You really do. To look down the road at the fundamental changes that are coming to our society and what is behind moving those changes and why it's happening. And beyond that, who is at the forefront of making those changes happen? Because it's the solving of those real world problems, those solutions, and how they're being solved. And the fact that we can invest in these protocols right now, mind blowing. And to think that most people are completely oblivious to it, that is the sad, sad fact right there. Truly it is. But for those of you, you're sitting here and you're watching this, you're spending your, 10, 12, 14 minutes watching this, and you know about it. Follow up on that. Follow up on that. Start this new year with a new discipline to invest in yourself. Time. Guys, time. A lot of us have traded all kinds of time for money, right, in the jobs that we held. I mean, I worked 25, 35 years in the financial industry and stuff like that before I could retire. Time is our greatest commodity. Invest it in yourself. Take the time to do it, because I'll tell you what, I believe it's going to pay the biggest dividends that you will ever see. That is my personal opinion. But at least you could do that much. I'll tell you what. Well, guys, lots of stuff happening in this space. I wanted to come out and share my little story there because I thought, wow, do we ever need blockchain to solve a lot of these problems and stuff like that? But in any case, guys, sure hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. And we do have a great video planned for you later on today. And so until then, guys, have a fabulous one and take care.